For 2 months, David has been living in a small tent on the side of a Brisbane motorway.
I never thought it would ever happen, but it has.
He tells us he hates it when it rains because his tent leaks.
But another thing that truly annoys me here, and I'm trying to do my best not to swear, but this is the toughest night I've had since I made that vow to myself. How many people are homeless in Australia right now? Do they have hotel-funded accommodation by the federal government? No, of course they don't. In fact, according to the most recent census, 122,500 people live on the streets. 122,500 people live on the streets.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
A bit of a dance happening as well. He's obviously a ceremonial welcome of the Pacific Island Leaders Forum, and not once but twice after a quick sit down, a breather between dances, he was back at it. On his feet again, doing another traditional dance.
They are not given hotel accommodation by the federal government. They are not taken care of by the state government. They sleep rough every single night. And by all reports, that number is growing, because that survey was done back in 2021. We, of course, had the effects of the pandemic into 22 and the cost of living fire that is raging in 2023. And again, my rage is reserved for those who speak such garbage in Canberra.
A Labor government will always look for ways in which we can provide assistance to those in need.
But do nothing for good citizens of this country who are sleeping rough. An example of that person is somebody who moved from regional Queensland to southeast Queensland to try to find a job. He does not have a home because of the housing crisis that we have spoken about before. This bloke should have a chance of getting a job and finding a rental property. But as we've told you time and time again, report after report after report, there is nowhere for him to live. But there's places for this vermin to be put up in taxpayer-funded accommodation, free to come and go as they want. This is what this bloke had to say last night on Channel 9 in Queensland. Amazing.
For 2 months, David has been living in a small tent on the side of a Brisbane motorway.
I never thought it would ever happen, but it has.
He tells us he hates it when it rains because his tent leaks.
It's harder than living in a place, but it is somewhere safe.
No hotel room for him. A tarpaulin and half a tent by the side of the road.
A Labor government will always look for ways in which we can provide assistance to those in need.
Once but twice after a quick sit down, a breather between dances, he was back at it. On his feet again, doing another traditional dance.
Will they just cover the fluff, or will they actually deal with a country that cares more about the comfort of people who shouldn't be in the country than the bloke who moves to southeast Queensland to get a job but ends up living by the side of the road?
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
It's just devastating.